NPP corrupt officials cases are kosono apparently Ghana former finance minister Yera Ofori Atta so say the say his doom is near chema untimi doom we ben na say Ofori Atta so the ben. Now as you can see on the screens or say extradition of Ofori Atta will become vulnerable after 14th of February 2026 when his US visa expires. This is coming from one of Ghana's investigative journalists, Manasseh Azuri Awuni. Inti Manasseh nsema odi abetu jane say already Ghana yankasa ya pet Ofori Atta ye pa right from and someone the lawyers the betuja say oyare he's going through mechanical surgery process near there and I mean to the extent and saying come the betuja say your former president Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo the 1 or 2 at akasabia to 2 more man and said the beya me amana Ghana without people and I said the security grabbing him at the airport near there. But from what Manasseh Azuri can which you say baby drone by 14th February 2026 there na Ofori Atta and US visa expire and also be in same in this light honorable Inusa Fuseni edin sembia betuja afa sansem we yenkotie no emra.
Consequences or the potential consequences of maybe the failure by the Attorney General or the government of Ghana in extraditing Ofori Atta. Honorable, what are the possible consequences?
Well, so first of all, consequences politically will deepen impunity. Ofori Atta is not there alone. He's there with his chef de cabinet and the Sakori. Now, why will Ofori Atta and the Sakori flee the jurisdiction of the country after the MPP lost elections? Why will they do that? Are they running away from accountability? If we fail to bring him, it will create a pathway for future politicians who have questions to answer on their tenure, but who ran away from the jurisdiction. It will become like a new norm. People who have questions to answer will simply flee. And we don't want that. And that's we'll urge that on the American courts. We are not saying that he's guilty. We're not pronouncing him guilty, and that's why the Attorney General said that he will not be persecuted, he will be treated fairly. We are saying that he has questions. And those questions relate to his involvement with the SML. And if he comes to answer those questions successfully, he will answer those questions before the Attorney General or the senior office of the special prosecutor. He will answer those questions before the court, and the court has a duty to be fair in all matters, in trial and criminal proceedings. And so that is our argument.
Honorable Inusa Fuseni Nensema Wade Ababetu Montenso concerning this whole the kind of saying Ofori Atta issues no. Now as you can see on the screens this is coming from the US President Donald Trump. So US President Donald Trump launches new gold card visa program allowing foreigners to pay 1 million for faster permanent residency. So it's like this is kind of answering mechanism Manasseh Azuri in Sema or Diabetu just say visa never expire in February 2016. And this is telling us says sika sebe sika ne ebetimi ayeden akasa ama, right?
Yes, so the entire, I mean, we also saw that a post free Donald Trump honor. Manasseh Azuri ne digging all year in the chest. Ofori Atta, former finance minister. Ofori Atta will become vulnerable after 14th of February 2026 when his US visa expires. His visa no expire 14th February. That means he's vulnerable. Do you understand? One gasa will stay now, will stay no visa now expire. So it's either you come back and reapply, and I say quite best on who bet me at all. That is when President Donald Trump now if he's able to pay 1 million Ghana cedis for that gold card now, and Ghana just over Sasa dining in our what I say. It is that will I mean men can say a bet for a faster gold card or when your green card or your gold card. A be fast track process number maybe within that period no to 14th February no maybe on a gold card. Now if he's able to pay the $1 million that means Ghana had a or Mahabu what I say.
So not to say I mean can say the stress but the processor attorney general more firm because we had say or more a year report and I say in Krata comma US for so one no omuntimi extradite taken Ofori Atta to Ghana no. When you gold card now, he can't be extradited or what?
So see, the whole thing is Ofori Atta has to find ways and means to extend his stay in the United States of America. What I say, and I already know sa extradition no crano and kebeche. But if there is a way a bit me heading about back to Ghana, naturally say ebia ebe send a visa expire into was say be back no be reapply. That is how a Manas has really sees the whole thing. Say it will make him vulnerable. Say some way somehow he will have to come back to Ghana.
I said, Ken is my senior brother. But on that day, I was the one saying he should be tried in absentia. And you and many others blasted me for a month and said, what do I mean by trial in absentia? Insisting that Ken come back. And I made the point.
Me, I didn't blast you. I just asked questions.
You, okay, fine. But later on, there was this whole discussion and blasting me because I said that if I was Ken's lawyer, in any case, any lawyer who was Ken's lawyer will not come. Now, a lot of the things I'm going to say have been said. I'm going to try and put it in a way, hopefully, to make it easy for people to understand, our viewers to understand. And I'm going to read this statement, and I'll show you. It's coming from the UN Convention Against Torture, Article 3. It's coming from the ICCPR, International Commercial, you can Google it, Article 6 and 7, African Charter on Human and People's Rights, and the ECOWAS Protocol on Democracy and Good Governance. They are there, Articles 5, 6, and 7. This is UN, African Charter, ECOWAS, and all those things. And I'm reading. It says, you find this in different forms in each of these ones. It says, an accused has a strong legal basis to refuse return to an antagonistic country. If an accused has a strong, if hostility translates into real risk of unfair trial or serious harm. Hostility can translate into real risk of unfair trial or serious harm. I'm not saying, it says if. And then this follows. It says, you can resist where there is political hostility to the accused, political hostility, politicians saying things against you. Prior persecution or harassment, things that constitute that. Lack of judicial independence, if there is a seeming lack of judicial independence, moving judges and all those things. Use of special tribunals or emergency courts. We are talking about tribunals today in Ghana. Evidence extracted by coercion. I can't say that is happening. Denial of legal counsel or open trial. No, that is happening. Now, my point is this. Over the year, where Ken's issues have been debated, I sat here at the last time and said, we are talking too much. And instead of focusing on actually prosecuting the man, we are focusing on the drama around his extradition and the public blood test for Ken to be seen, to be paraded in this country, to be handcuffed and all those things. And that those things were not material. Which is why I said, if we want to do this job, let us go ahead, focus on his prosecution, which can happen in absentia. But at that time, when I was speaking, nobody was moving in that direction. And I released the information here that he had not even been charged. Ken was charged in November last month, after a year of talking, which gave all these grounds for Ken to resist. Let me make the first point. What the OSP did and what this government has done has given Ken a solid defense. And that is what I was talking about. That defense is why he cannot, or he will have a means to defend or to prevent himself from coming here. Let me make this point. Dr. Ayine is a top-notch lawyer and also a top-notch politician. Let me tell you what he was doing. He was managing expectation of the public by informing you that with the kind of things that have happened in the past year, which constitutes a defense for Ken, with the kind of lawyers, and of course he will have lawyers, and of course he won't have little boy lawyers, he will have serious lawyers. But Dr. Ayine is a top-notch lawyer. What he's telling you Ghanaians, he won't say it, I will say it, is that it will be a small miracle to extradite Ken Ofori Atta to Ghana because of what the government, especially the OSP, has done. They have given him a solid defense. In any case, in the space of 3 years, he was telling you he can go to the first instance court, do an appeal, and go to the US Supreme Court. In the space of 3 years, it will be a small miracle to bring Ken to Ghana. Let me add this one too. You are asking for the extradition of a man who you have badmouthed for a year and who you just charged last month, who is not a convict. When you have a sitting convict in Sedina and you have not brought him here, you've left that one and you are asking the US government to extradite somebody you have simply charged when you have the room to prosecute him in absentia and you haven't done it. He's trying to tell you, Dr. Ayine is trying to tell you that it will be a small miracle. Don't expect him to work that miracle. So see, when we come here and we talk like this, it is not because somebody wants to support somebody or whatever it is. It is because I see these things, and many times when I say things like this, people don't like it because of the way I say it, but this is what happens. The last time I was saying the way we are going is what is going to lead to a situation where Ken Ofori Atta will not come, not because he's guilty. Ken has not been tried and proven guilty. And I'm telling you, do you know the number of charges against him? 78 or so. Are you aware?
78 is for all the accused.
All the accused. Any prosecutor.
I think there are about 20 or so against.
Any prosecutor involved in a serious case who puts up 78 charges is not serious. It's not serious. Because you and I know how long it takes to prove them, to try each of them. There are 2 or 3 that are going to catch the person.
Well, it doesn't matter the number of people involved.
It matters the number of people, but I'm saying that, look, the focus, who have we been talking about? Ken and his colleague.
When we had in excess of 78 charges against accused persons in the court, did you say the Attorney General was not serious?
You can have 1,000, but I'm saying 2, 3, or 4, not more than 10. Are going to nip the guy.
No, it's a general statement you have made that any prosecutor who prefers as many charges as 78 is not a serious one. And I'm saying we are living in a republic where this is actually not the highest number of charges.
But that's not the point.
An attorney
so here's my point. Here is my point, not what you're saying. My point is, in a matter like this, where you have a very laser focus on one person, and then you dump all these other people in, you don't focus, and you bring 70 plus charges against the person, all right?
You are not
serious. Because if you are serious, you will know that these plenty things, only less than 10 are going to hook him and then send him where you want to. So let me finish. Let
me ask you this.
It is important for me because you see, these are the things we do and then we will lose the case. Look, I'm telling you, read through the charges against Ken. He will walk with most of them. And he will use that to stretch this case. People have stretched their cases in this country for 8 years.
I was going to ask you a technical question. You say laser focus and deal with a couple of, charges. There are 9 people involved, right? Mm-hmm. And you know that the charges are not like standalone. They are interconnected. Mm-hmm. Somebody has done this and brought this person in. Somebody has done this, so they are interwoven. So how can you just single out Ken Ofori Atta? Because you won't have a predicate offense.
Every prosecutor has a wide discretion, you and I know, on who he attaches for prosecution. That's one. 2, what charges they bring against that person. Some of them even flip people within that circle.
The case is SML.
My brother, see, I know you're trying to moderate, but you're actually tackling me. So my point is...
No, I gave you enough time to speak before I ask questions.
No, well, I made this point, and we are going back and forth on it. Yeah. And my point is that, I repeat, any prosecutor who is faced with this kind of high-profile case, where there is a primary focus on one person, who, if all the people go free and Ken Ofori Atta alone is convicted, the people of Ghana will be happy.
So is it your judgment that the prosecutor's focus should be Ken Ofori Atta rather than all the other parties that have been
My
charged?
judgment is that given the way this case has gone, the persons who are prosecuting this case have made a series of bad decisions which will inure to Ken's benefit. And one of those bad decisions include how they've managed this process and also the fact that you are dealing with 78 or so.
You haven't answered my question.
I'm making my point.
There are a number of people, including companies.
Yes.
Is it your suggestion that he should be singled out and those ones, how? I don't know.
My suggestion is that all the people who are culpable should be part of the prosecution, but the prosecutor has wide discretion to decide who he will prosecute and who he will not prosecute. So he doesn't necessarily have to prosecute all of them. He can prosecute some now. Crime does not have a statute of limitations. So where you have a focus and for the whole year, it's only one person you are dealing with, why don't you focus on that, deal with that, and deal with the rest later?
You think sincerely?
I think the strategy will lead to Ken walking free.
Okay, so you think sincerely that in a case where a company is accused of these quote-unquote corruption-related offenses, and a number of individuals are the ones who are alleged to be the ones who played the various roles, one person should be picked out?
No, that's all I said. What I said is the prosecutor has wide discretion on who he can prosecute. Why don't prosecute 2 or 3 people for now? Why don't you have a total of 10 charges against them which can stick, and then later deal with the rest? And I'm making the point, and I repeat, the way this case has gone on is what will make Ken Ofori Atta.
Will you not have been the same person who will charge them of incompetence, that there are more than 2 or 3 people who should be charged, and they are charging only 1 or 2?
No, I don't do only law. I teach strategy. Law is a tool for strategy. The strategy should have been clear that you are going to focus your resources on 1 or 2 persons for now. Crime doesn't have a statute of limitations. And then deal with the others later, because you have a major issue. And now you've spread yourself so thin, 70-something, you spent a year bad-mouthing the guy, and now you have all kinds of situations which have constituted a defense to Ken. That's bad strategy on the
Of the 78 charges, which one of them do you think should have just...
I won't go into the details of that now, but I can say this with all the force I can muster, that it is not good strategy under a circumstance like this to go with all these when only a few.
You've made categorical, emphatic statements that Ken will walk.
No, I didn't say he will walk. I say the way this is being conducted is what is going to...
What that tells me is that you have surgically examined the charges. That's why I'm trying to narrow down, so we help our viewers. Which charge, for example, do you think is useless? Which charge do you think it's so bad that it will lead Ken, potentially to walk?
I am not going to go into the details of which charge will make him walk or not. I can say emphatically that anybody who brings a total of 78 or so charges in a matter that should be focused is not applying the right strategy. Anybody who has conducted a case that's this high profile over the year and only charged Ken last November, okay, and that does things, says things, does actions. And when This is why people is upset. Okay? When people found out that indeed, even when it came to the conduct of the, what do they call, the investigations, the OSP was lying. Oh, we didn't get the necessary help to keep him. They didn't try anyway. They've conducted themselves so badly. People was totally upset, and that is why he's written this. So I'm saying this thing has been botched. Look, people of Ghana, when the ultimate happens, don't get upset because you think Ken is this, Ken is that, or Ken hasn't done this or that. Sometimes it's the way the prosecutor or the prosecution handles the matter which makes it fail. And like I said, I sat here some time back and said, why haven't they started that trial in absentia long ago? They are not starting. Okay. So I'm saying it's not going well. And if this doesn't work, people should understand that sometimes...
This is not trial in absentia.
No. They are not starting the trial in absentia.
It's not trial in absentia.
What is it? I thought you said...
No, this is not trial in absentia.
No, what is it?
So hold on. I was going to ask a question, but I don't want to lose my focus.
Okay.
So the GRA bosses, which one of them is not top and important in the case? The man behind the SML, which one of them is not important? So you feel that it would have been better to let them and deal with Ken?
There is a saying that if you chase two rabbits, you will catch none. I'm not saying this or that is not important. You see, in the US, they have what they call RICO laws. Okay, that's another matter. In trying to catch the mafia bosses, etc., they have plenty of them around. But they know that sometimes when you pull one rope, it unravels the rest. When you have one conviction, it helps the rest. So what they do is they focus on one person, flip other people to deal with that person. It's strategy. I am saying all of them are important. But take this. The strategy by which this case has been prosecuted is going to lead to a defeat. Or at least it's going to make the case difficult. That is what Dr. Aina was trying to tell you. Well, Dr. Aina was trying to tell you that this thing is not going to be easy.